Hi, gentlemen. These will be your notes for Unit 3, Day 4 of Pre-Calculus. If you would like to see the warm-up, review question, or any homework questions we went over in class today, just look at the finished notes. So today we're going to talk about how to solve quadratic inequalities. So a quadratic inequality will be a quadratic, but instead of saying that y is equal to the x squared function, the y value is either going to be greater than the x squared function or less than the x squared function. So we want to know when the y values would be more than that or would be less than that. So we want to know when y is less than x squared minus x minus 12. So if we're going to graph that, we're going to first figure out what y equals x squared minus x minus 12 would look like. So if I were to graph that, we're just going to graph our parabola. I'm going to find the zeros first because this looks like it factors. So x minus 4, x plus 3. So my two x-intercepts of my parabola are going to be at 4 and negative 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and negative 3. And then if I want to find the vertex of the parabola, remember the vertex is the opposite of b over 2a. And so my vertex is going to be at 1 over 2 times 1. So the x-coordinate of my vertex is 1/2. And then the y-coordinate is going to be 1/2 squared minus 1/2 minus 12, which would be 1/4 minus 1/2 minus 12, which is going to be negative 12.25. So my vertex is going to be at 0.5, negative 12.25. So at 1/2, and then negative 12.25 would be down here somewhere because it's a 10 by 10. And so that would be what my parabola would look like. Now, notice it's just y is less than that parabola. So instead of having a solid line, you guys might remember graphing inequalities with linear equations. And so if we do this with quadratic, it's the same thing, except for the parabola will be a dotted line. So my parabola will go up to that line, but not equal to. And now I have to decide, are the solutions that I want inside of that parabola, or are they outside of the parabola? And so you can always do a test point. I want my y values to be less than that parabola. So we could test this point. We can test 0, 0 to see if that's where I need to shade. So if I test the point 0, 0, is 0 less than 0 squared minus 0 minus 12? So is 0 less than negative 12? No. So I don't want to include that point. So I'm going to shade outside of that point. So I'm going to shade outside of my parabola. So that's what that graph would look like. Y is less than x squared minus x minus 12. So if I went to Desmos, just to make sure that Desmos is agreeing with us, so we would do y is less than x squared minus x minus 12. And then if we do our home button, there we go. So notice we have that parabola, and hopefully we got our vertex right. Yep, 1/2 at negative 12.25. And then we have our two zeros, negative 3, positive 4. And then it's a dotted line, and then we're shading outside of the parabola. So all of the solutions in purple would be solutions to that quadratic inequality. All right, let's do the next one. Y is greater than or equal to 2x squared minus 4x. So again, I'm going to find the x-intercepts of this. So I'm going to set it equal to 0 and solve. I'm going to factor out 2x, and I'm going to have x minus 2. So either 2x is equal to 0 or x minus 2 is equal to 0. So I have one x-intercept at 0 and another x-intercept at 2. So 0 and 2. And then if I want to find the vertex will be at the opposite of b over 2a. That'll give me my x-coordinate. So this would be at positive 4 over 2 times 2. So the x-coordinate of my vertex is 1. And then if I plug that in, it would be 2 times 1 squared minus 4 times 1, which would be 2 minus 4. So my vertex is going to be at the point 1, negative 2. So 1 over 2. And then if I were to graph it, I would have that happy parabola right there. And it's a solid line this time because it's y is greater than or equal to. And then we can do a test point. So if I did a test point, I could test the point. You have to test a point that's not on the parabola. So I can't test 0, 0 because 0, 0 is on the parabola. So I'm just going to test this point right here, which is the point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0, 5. So if x is 0 and y is 5, is that going to be part of my solution? So is 5 greater than or equal to 2 times 0 squared minus 4 times 0? So is 5 greater than or equal to 0? Yes, it is. So I want to include that. So I'm going to shade inside the parabola this time. So all of the points inside the parabola would be solutions. So again, we can go to Desmos and make sure that that looks right. And so we had y is greater than or equal to 2x squared minus 4x. And we have our solid lined parabola with zeros, x-intercepts at 0 and 2, and then our vertex was at 1, negative 2, and we shaded inside the parabola. All right, so let's try another one. Y is less than 2x squared minus 3x minus 5. So if we wanted to do this one, we could factor it. So if you guys remember, to factor this guy, you could take 2 times negative 5 and you get negative 10. So we want to find two numbers that multiply to negative 10 and add to negative 3. That would be negative 5 and positive 2. So I can break up that middle term into negative 5x and positive 2x. And notice negative 5x plus 2x is negative 3x. So I didn't change the problem. I just rewrote it so I could factor by grouping. So now I want to know 2x squared minus 5x plus 2x minus 5. When does that equal 0? And that'll allow me to find the x-intercepts of this parabola. So group the first two, group the second two. From the first two, I can factor out an x, and then I would have 2x minus 5. From the second two, they don't have a common factor other than 1, so I'm going to pull out 1 and then 2x minus 5. Then group together the two terms that were on the outside, x plus 1, and then 2x minus 5. So my x-intercepts are negative 1 and 5 halves, which is 2.5. So negative 1 and then 2.5, I have x-intercepts. And then to find the vertex of this parabola, the opposite of b over 2 times a, so it's going to be at 3/4. And then if I plug that back in to find the y-coordinate, it'd be 2 times 3/4 squared minus 3 times 3/4 minus 5. So this would be 2 times 9/16, so that would be 18/16 minus 9/4 minus 5, which is 18/16 minus 36/16 minus 16 times 5 is 80, so 80/16. And so this would be negative 96/16. And so my vertex is going to be at 3/4 and then negative 96/16. So 3/4 and then negative 96/16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So we'll be down here. And then it is a dotted parabola because it's just y is less than that. So we're going to make it a dotted parabola. And then we want to know, we can test 0, 0 because 0, 0 is not on the parabola. So is 0 less than 2 times 0 squared minus 3 times 0 minus 5? So is 0 less than negative 5? Nope. So I don't want to include that point. So I'm going to shade outside of the parabola. All right. You guys can try the next one. If you can't find the x-intercepts of that, you could just find the vertex and sketch a picture of the parabola and then do a test point and just decide if you shade inside or outside and if the parabola is a dotted parabola or a solid parabola. So gentlemen, for our test next class, you guys are going to want to review all your notes. You're going to want to review the finished notes. And you can watch any video notes that you need to. I would also review all your exit tickets. And then remember, I make comments on them once I grade them, so you might want to go back and look at the ones that I've commented on. And I would review your homework. I would do the review assignment. And remember to study with the buddy. You will have a spiral section. So make sure you're reviewing the video problems from your Unit 1 and Unit 2 test. All right, if you have any questions, let me know.